Hawkins writes again. Good day to you. It is I, Justin Hawkins. This is Justin Hawkins Rides Again, my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and sign up for the alerts as well. Today's a great day because it's one of those days when I get to tell you about an album that I think is top to bottom bangers, or just really important, or just something that we should all listen to, really. And it's a pretty obvious one. I think I could choose any album by this band from the 70s, and maybe one or two from the 80s as well, which it's Queen. Basically, I'm talking about Queen. In our household, the two albums that were really prevalent during my upbringing were Jazz, which is the one I'm talking about today, and also Night at the Opera, which is one I'll probably talk about another day. And then as a young man, I got really into Sheer Heart Attack, and News of the World as well, and Day at the Races, and basically all Queen albums. But from this is one of the albums that I remember from being an infant. So Jazz is Queen's 7th studio album. Can you imagine that? I think while they're recording this album, Brian May was 31. So imagine having 7 albums out by the time you're 31. Outrageous. It was released on the 10th of November 1978. Produced by Roy Thomas Baker, the legend. What a guy. We recorded with Roy Thomas Baker, and what I know about this bloke is I don't think it was our strongest material by any stretch of the imagination. But if you had any idea, no matter how unfeasible, this is a guy that would move heaven and earth to realise it. And everything he did was astounding, really, because it was all with tape and achieving amazing sonic trickery. He's a wizard, basically, with all this old gear. You know, when you look at a mixing desk and you say to the engineer, half sarcastically, do you know what all those buttons do? Well, he really does know what all those buttons do. He's incredible. And an amazing person to hang around with as well. Like I said, I don't think it was our strongest material, but by God, it was thrilling to work with somebody like that. He was amazing, a one-off. So anyway, he produced Jazz, which is one of the reasons why it's so fantastic, I think, and recorded in France and Switzerland. The artwork was suggested by Roger Taylor, who saw a similar design painted on the Berlin Wall. It reached number 2 in the UK album chart and number 6 in the US Billboard 200. I mean, that's in the days when being at number 2 in the UK album chart really meant something. The album's varying musical styles were alternately praised and criticised. This is the thing about Queen. I think, the things that some people love about Queen are the exact things that other people hate about them. It's divisive in some ways. Obviously, there's a more unanimous upswell of fondness for their oeuvre just because it's so fucking brilliant. I mean, it is brilliant. I mean, even the stuff that's subtle, they've overdone subtlety in some ways, I'll get on to... One day I'll do a sort of deeper cuts Queen, not just the stuff that's on the greatest hits, a deeper cuts Queen playlist for you to listen to. I'll do a few different playlists. I'll do one where, Brian May sings the lead vocals. All songs are sung by Brian May. Or I'll do one where John Deacon did the writing, or most of the writing. There's some really interesting stuff in their catalogue, and I think that, the sort of... They genuinely defy genre. They leap boundaries in their sleep, and they're just brilliant for it. I think it's because they have 4 really contrasting songwriters who all contribute in different ways, and every time they have a song, you see only one name, like it might be Mercury or Taylor, registered as the only writer, but in fact I think that name represents the person who had the strongest vision for that piece of music or that song, and then everybody else contributed in the way that they always would, but it was always that person that had the final say, which meant that there are 4 really, strong-willed and contrasting musical minds that determined the output, really. And I feel like you can hear a Freddie Mercury song a mile away, you can hear a Brian May song a mile away, and you can definitely hear a Roger Taylor or a John Deacon song. John Deacon songs have always got brilliant bass lines. It's that simple. Roger Taylor will have an iconic drum pattern, just as a all we hear is, as an example. That's one on here actually. Yeah, and I think that the sort of playful vaudevillian stuff would always be Freddie Mercury, and the rock and roll stuff with the riffs, that's obviously Brian May. But imagine being a band that can do all those things to that degree. That's why they're the greatest, and also the most hated in some ways. The band attended the Montreux Jazz Festival, which probably inspired the title of the album. There they ran into David Bowie, who was working on his 1979 album Lodgers between tour dates. Bowie or Bowie, I've never known, convinced them to record at Mountain Studios in Montreux, and they recorded the rest of the album back in France. On the 19th of July, which was Brian May's 31st birthday, imagine. The band attended the 18th stage of the 1978 Tour de France, which inspired Freddie Mercury to write the lead single Bicycle Race. The band took a few days off, most notably on the 26th of July, when they trashed a Montreux hotel while celebrating Taylor's 29th birthday. Mercury was reportedly seen swinging on a cut glass chandelier in the hotel during the party. So, can't argue with that. That's just rock and roll. I would recommend going for just the remaster of the regular album. Don't go for the deluxe edition. You don't need all that extra stuff. This is enough music. Right, it starts off with Mustafa. Aside from the fact that the sort of mother tongue of this song is unknown to most people that would rock out to it, it's really interesting because the dynamics, it takes a long time for it to kick in. And then Roy Thomas Baker is a guy that can literally get away with murder. He just pushes things to the very extreme. Like stuff that's really quiet, like mastered super quiet, and then it just takes your fucking face off. And you've never heard dynamic shifts like that. Even in stuff like grunge music, I don't think it was ever surpassed. Mustafa, I'll tell you when to listen for. Yeah, after about a minute 20, it gets really loud. And keeps on getting louder. By the end of it, you're looking at something that's just unrecognisable from the start of that song, and it's only, well, more or less exactly 3 minutes long. And it goes straight into Fat Bottom Girls. Fat Bottom Girls, you make the rockin' world go round. I mean, that's a classic. It's an actual classic. This is definitely a Brian May song. I mean, look at that riff. I think D-tuned to D. Amazing. I think the original vinyl of this record came with an enormous poster that spread. I seem to recall stealing it because it was just hundreds of naked women on bicycles. A formative piece of viewing for well, I was a boy. I was a small boy with a big heart, looking at a poster with lots of naked women on it and listening to Queen. So there you go. Oh, Jealousy. Oh, how wrong can you be? Oh, to fall in love was my very first mistake. How many bands can do that kind of melodic stuff with such aplomb? How wrong can you be? Oh, to fall in love was my very first mistake. Love it. I want to ride my bicycle race. I mean, it's kind of, is he rapping or sapping or ringing? No, he's rapping and singing at the same time. Not at the same time, but, alternately. It's incredible. If you can't beat them, join them. Who wrote that one? I think that's probably a John Deacon one. Yeah, it was written by John Deacon. You better do it 'cause it makes you feel good. You're never gonna have yourself. Yeah. There's loads going on with it. I thought when you first listen to it, it's just like a really simple riff. And it's not, it's never going to be like the favourite on an album with songs like that on it, but you know what? It's still fun to listen to. Let Me Entertain You. Let me entertain you. Remember Robbie Williams did that song? Let me entertain you. I was really excited when he released a song called Let Me Entertain You because I thought it was going to be a cover of this. We'll breakfast at Tiffany's, we'll sing to you in Japanese, we're only here to entertain you. Yeah, just awesome. It's a different beast to the Robbie Williams, Let Me Entertain You. First at Tiffany's, we'll sing to you in Japanese, we're only here to entertain you. It's got some quite weird kind of rhythmic stuff going on in there as well. But it's if I had to guess, I'd probably say that was I'm going to play the who sang which song game. I would guess it's a Freddie song. Let's have a look. It was a Freddie song. I'm 2 for 2 right now. Dead on time. 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 Live on time. You're never gonna get it. No, you're never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Oh, no matter. Ooh, I'm not business hanging around and telling lies. Oh, that has to be a Brian May song because there's so much riffery in it. It's astounding. It's a Brian May song. 3 for 3. See, I told you. You can tell who wrote what. In only 7 days. Monday, start of my holiday. I love this song. It really reminded me of going on a holiday with your family when you you don't fit in when you're at home. So when you go on holiday, it's kind of like an opportunity to be who you think you are, And this song captures that perfectly. It's a song about a beautiful holiday romance conducted away from the constraints of your own kind of perception of yourself and all that stuff. It's beautiful. And it has to be a Freddie Mercury, if I had to guess, right? You can play this game at home, by the way, any Queen album. Listen to every song, check out the song credits and see who wrote it. And see if you can guess which member of Queen wrote each song. It's really fun. This one is probably a Freddie one, I would say. Let me look to see. No, it's John Deacon. Fuck! Oh my God. Wow. I got that wrong. Stop getting Queen wrong. Dreamer's Ball. Used to be my pride and joy. To be a baby used to be a pride and joy. I mean, I want to say it's a Freddie song, but it's got such an intricate guitar arrangement with lots of layered stuff going on. It's kind of like big band or jazz arrangement, but all played on electric guitar. So I'm probably going to say it's a Brian May song just because of the arrangement is so integral to it. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a Brian May song. Fun It. Everybody. It's got this drum stuff going on. Is that a Roger Taylor song? Let me look to see. Please be Roger Taylor, please be Roger Taylor. Yes, it's a Roger Taylor song. Fun It. Yeah, it's basically a disco beat with a some, like that Rick James Give It To Me Baby, but some massive tom fill going over the top of it. Of course it was going to be Roger Taylor. Leaving home ain't easy. Take
Take a step outside and I breathe the air.
This sounds like Brian May singing the lead vocal. This is a beautiful song about leaving home. Leaving home ain't easy. Leaving on your own. Leaving home ain't necessarily the only way. Brian May wrote that? Surely. He sang it. That's the clue. Let's have a look. Yep, Brian May. This is a great game. You guys can have some fun with this. Don't Stop Me Now. Tonight.
I'm gonna have myself.
Don't Stop Me Now. That's got to be a Freddie one, surely. Surely. There's a version knocking around somewhere, like maybe on the deluxe edition, where you've got the guitar parts, like there's a rhythm guitar playing on it. But the actual kind of definitive one that's on the greatest hits and on this record, I don't think you can hear any actual rhythm guitar. It's all piano until the solo. It's hard to do it on an acoustic. How's it go? That's got to be written by Freddie. Come on, tell me. Oh no, it's Brian and Freddie. Phew. I thought I was bang wrong then. I get half a point for that, surely. More of that jazz. This is a weird song because it's called More of That Jazz, and it's like, and it's got to be a Roger Taylor song. It's got a really iconic drum beat on it. So I would say that's a Roger Taylor song, but at one point, sort of towards the end, it sort of reprises like little snippets of all the other tracks. They must have recorded that song last and cut in like snippets of the actual masters. You know what I mean? Like the final mix masters on all the other tracks. It's really strange. I mean, it's an easy thing to do nowadays, but I think when in the days of tape, you really needed someone who knew what they were doing, and of course they had that with Roy Thomas Baker. I'm just going to check who wrote it. Yeah, Roger Taylor. The Roger Taylor song, but it's got some great guitar playing in it. Oh my God. Anyway, that's an amazing album. I used to hear that permeating through the floor up into our bedroom, and it was just like whenever my parents were having a party, the songs from this album were front and centre as things got going. It's a great record. It sounds amazing. They don't make them like that anymore, and I'm really grateful that it exists. I was brought up on this, and that's proper parenting. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Roy Thomas Baker. Thanks, Queen. And thank you for watching. Justin Hawkins writes again. Like, subscribe, sign up for the alerts, watch one of these two videos, and listen to Queen Jazz. Do yourself a favour. Nice one.